Hola amigos, in this video I'm going to walk you through our calentamiento today in Schoology. We've got our mandatos familiares or informales, and really what we're talking about is the two commands. So the first one here, we got ser, to command, and we want to tell somebody to be something. Maybe we're saying be creative. So in order to conjugate that, we have to remember what the rules are and what the exceptions are. And we'll start off with the exceptions because you really should just go, what are the exceptions? And then if it's not one of those, then we'll just follow the regular rules. And one of the exceptions, actually, ser is one of those exceptions, is one of the Vin Diesel words. Remember the Vin Diesel, ben, di, sal, as, ten, be, on, se. Se is where this one comes from. So it's one of those irregular forms. It does have an accent mark on the E, but this is the affirmative two form. And again, this is affirmative here because we don't see a no. If we were a negative verb, we would see the no with it to let us know that it's negative. All right, so again, it's an irregular one, doesn't follow the rules. It's just one of those Vin Diesel words that are irregular. All right, bueno, número dos. Here, two form. Again, this is another one. Again, this is how you should think. You should be thinking, is it one of the Vin Diesel words? Is it ben, di, sal, as, ten, be? It is be. Pon, se. Is it one of those? It is the be of that one. We haven't gotten any that are regular yet. We still don't. And hacer is one of the Vin Diesel ones. It becomes as, ben, di, sal, as. There it is, H-A-Z. And that's the entire conjugation. There's no, this isn't just a stem and we have to add something to it. That's the entire thing. Here we are again. Ben, di. That's the D of ben, di, sal. It's an irregular one. Again, we still haven't gotten past those rules. And we haven't here either. Ben, di, sal, as, ten. There's the 10, the irregular one. Again, that's the whole conjugation. Oh my goodness, we got another one. Bon, ben, di, sal, as, ten, be, bon, bon. That's that one. Got a couple more to go, and I think we'll have all the irregulars out of the way. If you didn't catch on, these are all irregular to start off. Just to go through each of the 8 irregulars. Here's the ben, and then here's our sal. So we had ben, di, sal, as, ten, be, bon, se. Ben from venir, di from decir, sal from salir right here. As from hacer, ten from tener, be from ir, pon from poner, and se from ser. Now, I think we're gonna have our first one that's not an irregular because we're out of them now. We've got llevar. So here we go. We still follow that process of, is it a Vin Diesel word? If not, then what's the rule? And the rule is we conjugate it just like we did in the present tense, in the third person singular. So if you went to the present tense, remember going back to Spanish 1, llevo would be the yo form, and then llevas would be the to form. Lleva, that's not how you spell it. Lleva would be your third person singular form right there. That's the form we steal. That's the same form we actually use. Coincidentally, it happens to be the exact same conjugation that we have right there is the one we're going to use. And that's very useful for us because that's also, if we have a stem change in the present tense, we also have the stem change in the command. So that stem change will happen in that form. So it'll still be there. There's no worry about spell change right now. We just have to know what that third person singular form of the indicative, the present indicative is to get this conjugation. So lleva is our conjugation. Next up, again, told you, stick with, is it a Vin Diesel word? We know it's not because we've already used all those Vin Diesel words up, but it's not a Vin Diesel conjugation. So go to that third person singular form, however you want to think of it. It's the same form as the él, ella, usted, that bottom left if you're looking at the chart. And now this is a stem changing verb. So I mentioned that we have a stem change in this command. The stem change already happens in the present tense. So here, if you go to that, yo sigo, tú sigues, él, ella, o usted sigue, that's your conjugation there. That's also your conjugation in the to command, affirmative to command. Okay, terminar. A little bit more basic than the last one. Just go to that third person form, the singular form. You get termina, not a Vin Diesel one. Recordar, not a Vin Diesel one. However, it is a stem changer, so you may not have realized that this does become, it's an O to UE stem change. And then we finish our conjugation out. Recuerda. I'm telling someone, remember. All right, now we've got no here. This tells us we're using negative conjugations. Now this whole process is different than what we've been doing. We remember there are 3 steps to this. You go to the yo form, drop the O at the end, and then you add the opposite ending with an S after that. So let me walk you through that. So here's step 1. We go to the yo form. Ends with O. We're going to drop the O. We're getting rid of the O that is at the end. And then I'm going to add the opposite ending. And what that means for an IR verb is that we are going to add an A for an IR verb and then an S since we are in the to form. No hablas. Now the negative has an S at the end. The affirmatives will not have an S at the end. But negatives do. No hablas. Okay, so we got here. Cambio is the yo form. Drop the O. And now we're adding the opposite ending for an AR verb. An AR verb, the opposite ending is an E, and we'll have an S at the end. Adding ES to AR verbs. No cambios. And now we got leer. Leer. You just follow those rules. Yo form, leo. Drop the O. Opposite ending of an ER verb is AS. So we've had actually each example so far of the opposite endings. For AR verbs, we're using ES. For ER and IR verbs, we're using AS to finish off our conjugation once we get rid of that O. Okay, so here's the whole purpose of why we go to the yo form, because in the last 3 examples, we could have just done our normal process of getting the stem by dropping the ending, but here we see really why it matters. Because when I go to the yo form, it becomes TENGO, and that G is going to keep once I drop that O at the end, and that wouldn't happen if we formed the stem by our traditional way. So TENG is now our stem, and then we add our opposite ending with the ER verb. So that's AS, no tengas. 4 more. We got ear. Now we go to the yo form. Remember the yo form. We're supposed to drop the O. The second step is drop the O at the end. Now, the reason I always add on the at the end is because I want us to recognize is that when we have a verb that doesn't end in O, like this one, that's just a reminder that this is an irregular verb, and we just have to remember what the irregular form is, and this one becomes bias. It does keep that same rule, but it's got an AS at the end for an IR verb right here. So IR verb means we use the AS ending, so it actually is, even all the irregulars that we have with ir, ser, dar, estar, and saber, they all are consistent with that rule with the opposite ending, S. Speaking of, if you go to the yo form here, it's se, and that is not an O at the end, so it is an irregular one. It's a way for us to remember that it's irregular, and it becomes sepas, no sepas. Okay, hablar, back to our more basic stuff. Hablo is the yo form. Drop the O, add the opposite ending. It's an AR verb, so we're going to add ES. No hables. And then our last one, we went over this most recently, where we have, this is one of those exceptions where it doesn't really work out. If you go to the yo form, and you drop the O, and you add your opposite ending, all that's good, except for this would be problematic, and that we would pronounce that differently when it has an E after it than when it has the A after it. So we want to keep that K sound. This is buscar. We want to keep that K sound. In order for us to do that, when we add an ES there, is we have to change this C to QU. We've done that before in other conjugations where you have the gar, carsar. So gar, carsar will have spell changes here too as well. Okay, so hopefully that was helpful. If you needed a walkthrough, hopefully you were able to use this to get yourself some answers. Okay, bueno, hasta la próxima.